my name's Wayne from InTimeWithMusic, and I'm here tonight to tell you about a couple of good friends of mine. Introduce you. This one here, Sabian Hear the Difference, came to be in 1990, and we have a long history together. It was given to me by the SABIAN Cymbal Company. You had to be a dealer. I don't think you could buy one of these. I think these were only given to SABIAN cymbal dealers. And I used it for a lot of things, and I'm going to share those stories with you tonight. I just finished restoring this sign, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. So I'm going to pull it apart. We're going to do a little surgery on Sabian here. Okay, first we'll flip it upside down. Yeah! These signs were really popular amongst music dealers. Over the years I had them from Boss. I had a beautiful neon sign from Boss, and companies like Fender and PV and Zildjian, Sabian. Well, I don't know if Zildjian so much, but Sabian certainly like to supply you with promotional materials. So we're just going to take the bottom off. All I did there, because I am going to sell this, so whoever buys it in my store will have to watch this video so they know how to put it back together. Just took the bottom piece off, and then the faceplate panels both slip out. I'm going to tell you a little bit about those. Once again, this sign is roughly 30 years old. And unfortunately, this sign had a lot of use, and it was moved around a lot. So I encountered a few minor injuries, really small ones on this faceplate here. There's a repair I did here and one here. I repaired these cracks with methylene chloride. There's different ways to repair sign faceplates, but these ones here that are illuminated from the inside out, some people will repair them with a piece of reinforcing clear tape or something like that. And that'll obviously cast a shadow when the sign's illuminated, right? So I prefer to use methylene chloride. You have to be really careful because methylene chloride isn't actually an adhesive or a glue. It's a solvent, and what it does is it fuses the edges together. And it's maybe not as strong as using a glue and a patch, but once the sign is suspended by chains in your drum cave or your studio or your movie set or wherever you're going to put this thing, it really doesn't matter. The important thing that matters is that the sign is transported with care. So that piece has been spot repaired in a couple of areas. This one here suffered the most damage. And it's actually, I'm not sure if you can see it in the camera, but most of the cracks are in the area of these two F's in the word difference. And I'll flip it around, and this area here had some severe cracks that I used again. Once again, I repaired them with methylene chloride. There might be a few other spot repairs over here as well, because I know this area of the sign was punctured. And the edges of these old signs, once again, this is a 30-year-old sign that's been up against the heat of a fluorescent tube for 30 years. In the top area here, which right now is on the bottom, is the ballast. These two screws hold the ballast, and there's very little electronics in here. There's just really a ballast with some wires that run up, and they power the tube. And so that's it. But there was heat created by the ballast, and so this corner here did also have some cracks that I repaired with methylene chloride. So I'm going to reassemble this now. We're going to light this baby up and see how it looks. So once again, we want to make sure this goes in the right way. We don't want to have it upside down. So whoever does end up purchasing this sign, when it's shipped to them, these these fragile pieces will be wrapped in bubble wrap and shipped, shipped off of the sign. So I'm not going to ship this sign assembled, because that's when you run into the problems. So we're just going to flip this upside down, so that when we invert it, we're looking at it the right way. Once again, 2 screws. That's it. over the years, you know, we've gone through incandescent lighting and fluorescent lighting and CFL lighting, and now we're into LED lighting, and they all have different characteristics, you know, and the beauty, of course, of LED lighting is that the heat isn't there. But, you know, the problem with LED lighting, of course, is that you have all these little tiny beams that aren't dispersed evenly, you know, so it's spotty. But with this old-fashioned fluorescent lighting, you'll see what I mean. It's more of a global glow, if that's a phrase. Okay, so this chord here, I'm not sure if this is the original chord. Once again, I'm going to tell you the backstory on this sign. But the first thing I want to do, and I'm sure that you're interested, is does it work? So I'm going to turn the sign on with the studio lighting on. And then I'm going to turn the studio lighting off so that you can see how the sign looks in its glory. Yeah! Voila! Okay, so there you have it. Beautiful. And once again, the repairs that were done, I can't even tell on this side if any repairs were done. This is definitely not the side where the two Fs were repaired with the methylene. Let's turn it around. So yes, there. That is the result of the repair, which is certainly a lot less traumatic than if you had a big square patch behind this of fiberglass or clear Gorilla Tape, which is commonly used, which would cast a big shadow. So I prefer this kind of repair. Might be a little bit more delicate, but at the same time you get more of the full brilliance of the sign. I'm going to turn the studio lighting off and show you what this would look like in your studio at home. It's pretty amazing, eh? Beautiful. 30 years old in its glory. Fortunately, this sign didn't get a lot of scratches through its color. You can still clearly read the Made in USA, which is kind of ironic considering that Sabian, Sally, Billy, and Andy, is a totally Canadian company. Robert, I don't know what he was thinking when he had this sign made in the United States. Maybe they couldn't produce it in Canada, I don't know. And that's part of the backstory on this sign. So while I got the studio lights off, I'll tell you a little bit about it. In the early 90s, I joined a stage crew. We were responsible for supporting music festivals, Canadian music festivals. And some of them were very, very large, and some of the acts that we looked after were the Everly Brothers, Brooks and Dunn, Tanya Tucker, Glenn Campbell, Charlie Pride, major country festivals. And we would have, 3 or 4 or 5 days of bands. So these bands would fly in, and they wouldn't bring drum sets. They would just bring what they needed. The drummer would bring a stick bag, guitar players would bring their favorite guitars, etc. Sometimes they would bring, a small entourage of gear, but we were really responsible for making them sound good. And the best thing about the Ninja Stage Crew that we understood was it wasn't just providing them with equipment, it was making them feel good. Because in order to sound good as a musician, you have to feel good. And sometimes you have a shitty day, and you have to go out there in front of 30,000 people and sound great. And our job was to get inside their heads sometimes, not just get inside their gear, but get inside their heads and make them sound good. So this sign was part of that. At the back of the stage, I had an area always called Wayne's World. Go figure. And I would equip it not just with the equipment and tools I needed and spare parts, but also I would try to make them feel good. So I had a menu. If they forgot guitar strings, it was on the menu, capo slides, you name it, was on the menu. And this sign, because backstage you can't you can't have flashlights and things like that because there could be film crews in the front. There's definitely photographers. There could be a CBC making a video or a movie, or there's all kinds of reasons why you can't have stray lighting. This was awesome because it gave me enough light to repair their instruments, and it gave them a sense of warmth, like they were in a music store. And there's nothing like, I can tell you this from experience, when musicians fly around the world, there's nothing they enjoy more than hanging around in a music store. And so that's where this sign was used. And I'll show you some pictures. When I list this too, I'll post a few pictures. I'm only allowed 12 pictures on eBay, which is a shame. But I will put some pictures in this video of the environments that this sign has survived. I'm going to miss it, but I also know that whoever owns it is going to love it, and it's going to really embellish their private space. And so I'm looking forward to hearing back from whoever does purchase this sign. Pretty incredible. Now I'm going to turn the studio lighting back on. Because I know I'm sitting here in the dark. And I've just told everyone a bedtime story, so you're probably, wake up, wake up, wake up, because I've got another friend to introduce you to. So there you have it, Sabian. Hear the difference. I got this directly from the Zildjian family. I worked with the family. I'm talking Robert Zildjian, Sally, Willie, Billy. I only met Billy and Andy once, but I did spend a lot of time with Sally and Robert, and I just can't say enough. Can't say enough about this family, and I to be honest with you, in 1982, when they started this whole Sabian concept, I was skeptical because I'd been involved with Zildjian for many years, but they did everything they said they were going to do, and it's really a special. A special conquest in the music industry. Maybe conquest isn't the right word, but achievement. So thank you, Sabian. Hear the difference. You saw the difference too. Okay. Last but not least. Next. Slingerland is percussion. Wow, this bad boy has suffered. It's a very old sine clock, and it has quite a backstory as well. It was originally purchased by Ray Ayotte, and for those of you who are drummers and know a little bit more about drums, Ray Ayotte was the inventor and original owner of the Ayotte Custom Drum Company that went on to huge fame, endorsees like Gary Peterson from Guess Who. We had so many people come in. The era of this of the Ayotte Drum Company started in about 1983, which was post staccato. We also had the Staccato Drum Company, or Ray did, and Ray designed many famous things for drummers like the Tune Lock Tension System, which is still very iconic today. And anyway, this sign Ray bought. He had a number of drum stores that started out to be small drum store in Vancouver, British Columbia, and ended up being moving into a location that was the largest drum store on earth, called Drums Only.